Hi, Mikel. One of the things you said just then is one of the criteria you judge yourself on is by getting the maximum from the players. Do you feel that that has happened this season, that the players have given their maximum?
With the majority of them, yes.
Not all of them. I mean, presumably, how do you go around changing that?
Trying to again finding a different way to do it, find them, challenging them again, putting somebody next to them to try to push them again. Some of them can get to a certain level, and you cannot push any further. You want to evolve that, is not possible.
On another subject, I mean, it's possible still you could qualify for this Europa Community League next season, which is being quite derided by a lot of people. But would you take that as opposed to having a free season with no European football?
Well, I think if we have any possibility to be in Europe is always ideal for our club.
And obviously the Europa League has given the club the chance to develop a lot of the young players like Saka and Smith Rowe and Martinelli. Would that be a problem next season without having that sort of competition in which to maybe give younger players a chance?
Well, I think they would be in a different development phase next season with what they have achieved this season. To use the same criteria with other young players that they might be here, we would have to find a way in other competitions to accommodate this playing time that they need, Mark.
And presumably, last question, without European football, you probably need a smaller squad because you can't really accommodate 30 players if you're only playing one game a week.
Well, we already had a very large squad the way we started last season, and a not very balanced squad in certain positions as well. So obviously, what we've been trying to do all this time is trim that down and put it in a way that is much more sustainable, and it made more sense for the qualities and positions that we need.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. We'll go to Gary Jacob from the Times.
Morning, Mikel. You just mentioned sort of you felt that the majority of the squad have sort of performed, and if that's the case, why haven't the team performed better in terms of results?
I think it's difficult to judge then where we should finish and where our realistic level is. When I said the majority, I didn't say all of them. And some has some big contribution to make to those results.
What is the level then, the current level of the team squad?
Well, the one that we shown, because in 38 games, it doesn't lie.
Can I ask, obviously you say you've had made plans for this summer. Will you now have to sacrifice players to raise funds, or bigger players to raise funds?
Let's see what happens. It's difficult to predict that one, but in general, we wouldn't like to do that because we're only going to be stronger.
But if you don't do that, you then have to ask the owner for some money. So which one would it be?
I think it was clear that if we want to improve the team, we need some resources.
And on David Luiz, have you made a decision now to extend his contract or to allow him to leave at the end of the season?
We already spoke about it, and at the end of the season, the decision will be made.
Okay. And just one thing on obviously Chelsea tomorrow. And obviously Tuchel went in there and he's been able to change it quite quickly. From the outside, are there differences between the clubs that he's been able to go in there and change things quickly? Perhaps the infrastructure is different, that you are still working on changing things, that you can get into a position where you can change the results like he's been able to change the results.
I leave that answer for you, Gary, but I think it's to compare two scenarios like this, I think it's very, very different.
Thank you.
Okay.
You've spoken a lot in the past few weeks about, Arsenal and the size of the club, the fan base, the stature. Do you think that is going to be enough to attract players without European football? Do you think the club's brand and reputation will be enough to get the players you want?
Every player that we've been linked with or we had some communication, I haven't seen one that he was refusing to come here. Completely the opposite. Everybody is very willing to join our club.
When you joined the club, was it something you looked at, the fact they were playing in Europe, or was it about playing for Arsenal that was the factor when you joined it?
I was already so keen to come before because I always admired this football club and the way they did things and the way they used to play. So it was an easy one.
And is it also important anyway that the players who come in are joining to play for Arsenal, not because they want to play in the Champions League or the Europa League? They're playing because they want to be at this club.
That's a really good point. And as well, we have to take the club to where we want. And in order to do that, you have to be willing to accept the situation that we have today to achieve what we want in the future.
And just the last one, you spoke the other week about being ruthless. Does that include getting business done early and quickly because you have a lot to do? You can't afford to be waiting late in the window to get deals done.
That's always ideal because it allows you time to work with the players to adapt, and when you have to the amount of changes that you have to, you do the last minute, obviously you know what is going to happen.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you.